Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today we're taking a deep dive into one of the most fascinating modern cents ever released in the United States, the 2009 Lincoln Formative Years penny. So sit back, listen closely, and enjoy every second, because this little coin hides a story bigger than its size. Imagine a young Abraham Lincoln in Indiana, sitting on a simple wooden log, reading, learning, shaping the mind that would someday guide an entire nation. That one moment in history was captured on this coin, released in 2009 to celebrate his bicentennial. The United States Mint created 4 special designs that year, but the Formative Years design stands out because it shows Lincoln in the period where his character, skills, and dreams were being built. Collectors love coins with stories, and this one delivers. At first glance, the 2009 penny seems common. Millions were made, and you still find them in pocket change. But don't be fooled, hidden among those everyday coins are rare treasures. What makes them rare? Condition, variety, and errors. And some errors on this penny are wildly popular. One of the most exciting features collectors look for is doubling. On some examples, Lincoln's hands, the book, or the tools beside him appear doubled, a striking visual that makes the coin instantly more valuable. There are also die cracks, extra metal near the fingers, and even distorted details caused by worn dies. These strange-looking quirks can turn an ordinary cent into a must-have collectible. Coin hunters search rolls for hours just to find that one special piece. Then there's condition. Most 2009 pennies you find today have been through pockets, drawers, car cup holders, and washing machines. They're scratched, dull, and worn. But the valuable ones? Those are the blazing red, untouched, mint-state examples with full shine and sharp details. When a coin comes straight from a mint set or survives circulation perfectly, its value jumps dramatically. Those beautiful red gems, graded at the highest levels, are the ones that shock people at auctions. Imagine someone pulling a penny from change, sending it for grading, and discovering they own a top-tier example worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. It happens. Not often, but enough to keep collectors searching. So before you toss that 2009 penny aside, turn it under a light. Look at Lincoln's fingers. Look for doubling. Check the surface. A tiny mark can change everything, and a flawless coin can bring serious money. Now let's talk real numbers, spoken clearly. Most circulated 2009 Formative Years pennies are worth only 1 cent. Uncirculated bright red examples can sell for a few dollars. Satin finish coins from mint sets often sell for around $3 to $5. High-grade certified coins in the MS-67 range have sold for over $1,000. The rarest top pop examples have reached nearly $2,000 at auction. Top 2, we're going deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, a coin almost everyone has seen, touched, or spent without ever realizing the hidden stories inside it. The United States of America Lincoln penny from the year 1964. At first glance it looks simple, almost too common, but the truth is, this coin holds secrets that most people never imagine. So stay with me, listen carefully, and enjoy the whole journey, because what I'm about to tell you might make you take a second look at every penny you find. 1964 was a chaotic year in the world of U.S. coinage. The country was facing a coin shortage so serious that the mint was under huge pressure to strike coins as fast as possible. Every machine was running full force, every die was pushed to its limits, and billions of coins were flooding into circulation. And when production skyrockets like that, quality control slips. And when quality control slips, rare errors appear. And that is the magic of the 1964 penny. This cent is made of 95% copper, giving it that beautiful rich red color collectors adore. Most of them have been through decades of wear, losing their shine, their details, their sharpness. But those rare survivors that still glow bright red, with crisp rims and flawless surfaces, are the ones collectors chase endlessly. Imagine finding a penny from over 60 years ago that still looks like it was minted yesterday. That is the kind of piece that can change everything, but condition isn't the only excitement. What really lights up collectors are the errors. Some 1964 pennies show doubling on the date or on the letters in the words Liberty or In God We Trust. Under magnification, these double-die varieties look like shadows or echoes of the design, a beautiful mistake born from stressed machines and worn dies. Other errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design drifts toward the edge, creating a dramatic misalignment that collectors love instantly. There are pennies with die breaks, which look like raised cracks across the metal. Some have cuds, chunks of missing die that leave huge blobs of extra copper on the coin. Others have repunched mint marks, where the letter was punched more than once, leaving behind overlapping impressions. Each of these errors tells a story of the frantic pace of the mint in 1964, a year when the United States was fighting to keep up with the demand for coinage. Every flaw is like a fingerprint from that rushed production era, one of a kind, impossible to duplicate, and deeply valued by collectors. And then there are the gems, the high-grade coins with immaculate surfaces. These coins didn't get tossed in pockets or dropped on the sidewalk. Somehow, for decades, they survived untouched, maybe saved by accident, maybe collected on purpose, or maybe simply forgotten in an old roll. When one of those top-quality pieces appears, collectors don't just glance, they stare. Now let's talk real prices in clear words. A normal circulated 1964 penny is worth 1 cent. A bright red uncirculated example can bring $10 to $30. High-grade certified coins in Mint State 67 red have sold for several $100s. The rarest finest known examples in Mint State 67 plus red have reached more than $4,000 at major auctions. Top 3, we're exploring one of the most mysterious, most talked about, and most thrilling coins in American collecting history, the United States of America Lincoln penny from the year 1969. Now listen carefully, because this tiny copper coin holds a story that feels almost unreal. This is the kind of coin that makes collectors' hearts race and keeps treasure hunters searching through jars, rolls, and old boxes for hours. Stay with me, because this one is packed with surprises. The 1969 Lincoln cent may look ordinary at first glance, but behind that simple design hides one of the most legendary errors ever discovered. A coin so famous, so shocking, that collectors still talk about it today. The 1969 double-die obverse. This error didn't just become famous, it became a legend, but before we get to that, let's talk about the coin itself. The Mint in 1969 was producing billions of pennies, pushing machines hard, reusing dies longer than normal, and doing everything possible to meet the demand for circulating coins. When dies get overused or misaligned, strange things happen. And those strange things create opportunities for rare, desirable errors that collectors dream of finding. Most 1969 pennies are made of copper, with that classic deep reddish-brown tone when they survive in nice condition. But most have taken decades of wear. They've been dropped on sidewalks, rubbed in pockets, scraped in cash registers. The challenge is finding a survivor with full red color, no scratches, and crisp details. Those pieces alone can already be worth more than you expect. But the real excitement begins with errors. Let's talk doubling, the error that makes or breaks fortunes. On some rare 1969 cents, the date and the words Liberty and In God We Trust show powerful, dramatic doubling so strong it looks like a shadow carved into the coin. This is not slight doubling, this is bold, eye-catching, unmistakable doubling that collectors instantly recognize. This variety became so shocking that, when first discovered, federal agents actually seized some of them, thinking they were counterfeit. That's how intense the doubling is, but it doesn't stop there. There are other collectible errors too: coins struck off-center, coins with die cracks running through Lincoln's face or the lettering, coins with broken die pieces creating blobs of metal on the surface. Even subtle strike-through errors, where something got between the die and the planchet, can create unusual textures that make a coin unique. Every error has its own personality, and the 1969 penny is full of them. And then comes the thrill, the possibility that a simple penny in your pocket change could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. Imagine holding a coin that millions of people passed by without knowing its power. That's what makes this hobby exciting. You never know what surprise is hiding in your loose change. Now let's talk real values, spoken clearly in words only. A normal circulated 1969 penny is worth 1 cent. A bright uncirculated red example can sell for $10 to $30. Minor errors can bring $50 to $100. High-grade certified coins can reach several $100s. But the famous double die obverse, the real one, has sold at auction for more than $400,000 in the highest grades. Top 4, we're taking a journey into the world of a coin that millions of people overlook every day, yet collectors know it holds secrets, surprises, and even hidden value. The United States of America Lincoln penny from the year 1965. If you think this coin is just another ordinary copper cent, stay right here. Because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a simple penny the same way again. The 1965 penny came out during one of the most intense and chaotic times in American coin history. The mint was dealing with a nationwide coin shortage. Silver was disappearing from circulation, people were hoarding coins, and the government was rushing to keep up. That pressure pushed the mint to work faster, strike harder, and push equipment well beyond normal limits. And when a mint pushes production like that, interesting things happen. Mistakes happen. And those mistakes are exactly what make certain 1965 pennies rare and valuable today. Now, even though these pennies look copper, they're actually made of a copper zinc alloy, giving them a rich reddish tone when they're fresh. But most 1965 pennies you find today are worn, scratched, and dull from decades of circulation. The real treasures are the ones that survived untouched, the bright red, sharp, mint-state coins with glowing luster. Those rare beauties are what collectors dream about, because in high grades, every tiny detail on Lincoln's portrait pops off the surface like sculpture. But let's talk about errors, the reason so many people check their change with a magnifying glass. Some 1965 pennies show off-center strikes, where part of the design is shifted, leaving a blank crescent on the coin. The more dramatic the shift, the more dramatic the value. Others have die cracks, raised lines of metal running across the surface like lightning scars, created when the die began to break during production. Some even show retained cuds, blobs of extra metal formed when part of the die chipped away. Every one of these flaws makes a coin unique. There are also subtle but collectible strike-through errors, where something like grease or debris got between the die and the blank coin, leaving unusual textures or missing details. Imagine flipping a penny under the light and seeing half the motto weakened or missing. That's the kind of mistake that instantly catches a collector's eye. And then there are the coins that survived in pristine, gem-level mint condition. Finding one of those today feels like uncovering a time capsule. These high-grade survivors didn't live in pockets or jars, they lived in drawers, rolls, collections, or mint-sealed packaging. And when one appears, collectors don't hesitate, because they know how rare true perfection is. Now let's talk real prices, spoken clearly in words only. A normal circulated 1965 penny is worth 1 cent. A bright uncirculated red example can sell for $5 to $15. Off-center or die crack errors can bring $20 to $50 depending on intensity. High-grade certified coins in mint state 66 or higher can sell for $100 to $200. The finest known mint state gems have brought more than $500 at auction. Top 5, we're turning the spotlight on a coin that most people toss aside without a second thought, the United States Lincoln penny from 1967. But if you listen closely, you'll discover that this small copper disc holds more than a cent's worth of history, mystery, and hidden value. Stay with me, because by the time you finish watching this you might never treat a penny the same way again. 1967 was a huge year for penny production. Over 3 billion Lincoln pennies were struck. The supply was massive, designed to flood cash registers, vending machines, and pockets across America. On the surface, that makes this penny look ordinary, plain, and almost worthless. But here's the twist. When steel production and everyday wear combine with decades of circulation, only a tiny fraction survive in pristine, collectible condition. those survivors? They're the gems. That's where the real story begins. The 1967 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which gives it a classic coppery look that still warms coin collections today. Most examples you'll ever see are faded, scratched, or just plainly dull. But now and then, a coin escapes the everyday grind. Maybe it spent its whole life in a coin roll, a drawer, or an envelope. That coin keeps its sharp details, its full luster, and maybe even glints red or red-brown when held under a light. That difference between the hunted-out penny from the store and the preserved gem is huge, and that's why serious collectors sit up when they spot a 1967 penny in pristine shape. Errors and oddities are where things get truly exciting. Because the mint was working hard and fast through the 1960s, dyes were used intensively, and sometimes mistakes slipped through. Some 1967 pennies show dye cracks, tiny raised lines or breaks on the surface that happened when the dye cracked mid-production. Others show off-center strikes, where the design is shifted and part of the coin's planchet remains blank. You might even find coins with odd metal flows, planchet flaws, or slight doubling of letters. These quirks make each coin unique. For a collector, that's pure gold. Imagine sorting through old change and seeing a penny where the lettering looks a little ghosted, or the rim looks uneven. Your heart would skip. Because those pennies, those slightly weird ones, could be worth more than you expect. Condition matters a lot. A well-preserved coin with errors or a rare satin finish can catch someone's eye fast, but even without errors, pristine uncirculated 1967 pennies from so long ago are rare. A perfect, clean coin with original shine and sharp details is like a tiny time capsule, a tiny piece of 1967 that survived intact. That kind of coin is what collectors love. It's also what makes coin hunting so addictive. You never know when one will turn up. Now, if you're wondering what all this could mean in real money, here are the numbers, in plain words. A typical, worn 1967 penny you find in pocket change is generally worth just a cent. A clean, uncirculated example in good condition can sell for between 10 and 20 cents. If you luck out and find one with a minor error or unusual strike, it might fetch $5 to $50 depending on the flaw. And if you discover a pristine, high-grade coin, or a rare satin finish, special mint set, type, in flawless condition, collectors have paid hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional auction-worthy cases, $500 or more for top-quality specimens. So next time you see a humble penny, slow down, take a second look, maybe give it a gentle rub, hold it under light. That dull old cent might be hiding a little treasure. Top 6, we're diving into one of the most underrated but fascinating coins in American coin history, the United States of America Lincoln penny from the year 1968. At first glance, it might seem like a simple copper cent you've seen 1,000 times before. But stay with me, because once you hear the secrets behind this coin, you'll never ignore a 1968 penny again. Listen closely, coin lovers, because this one is filled with history, mystery, and hidden value that might be sitting in your pocket right now. 1968 was a big transition year for the U.S. Mint. Only Denver and San Francisco pennies carried mint marks, while Philadelphia pennies remained without one. The mint was still adjusting after the mid-60s coin shortage, and production was high, sometimes rushed, which created the perfect conditions for varieties, mistakes, and striking errors. And when millions of coins are pushed through stressed machinery, opportunities for hidden treasures appear. The 1968 penny is struck from 95% copper, giving it that warm, rich red glow when it survives in beautiful condition. Most examples you find today are brown, dull, or worn from decades of use. But every once in a while, a perfect, untouched piece shows up, a coin with crisp details, blazing red color, and full mint luster. These flawless beauties are the ones collectors chase. Because while billions were made, very few survived in true gem quality. Now let's talk about what really makes the 1968 penny exciting, its errors and varieties. Some 1968 pennies come with doubled dies, where the letters Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date show a doubled or shadowed appearance. These are rare, dramatic, and instantly eye-catching to collectors. you also have off-center strikes, some showing slight misalignment and others with dramatic blank arcs on the coin. The more severe the off-center strike, the more valuable it becomes. Then there are die cracks, raised, lightning-like lines across Lincoln's portrait or the reverse lettering. These cracks formed when dies were pushed too long in production, and each one is unique. Another thing collectors love to look for in 1968 pennies is the mint mark. The Denver Mint Mark D and the San Francisco Mint Mark S were both hand-punched into dies at that time. Which means repunched mint marks exist, tilted, doubled, shadowed, or slightly misaligned. These small varieties can raise the desirability and value of a coin, and we cannot forget the 1968 S-proof coins. These weren't meant for circulation, yet sometimes proof coins escape or get mixed into circulation. Their mirrored surfaces and needle-sharp details make them instantly recognizable. Finding a proof-like 1968 penny in circulation is like discovering a small red gemstone in a pile of gravel. The journey of these 1968 pennies, struck in huge numbers but surviving in few pristine examples, makes them endlessly interesting for collectors. Every time you hold one, you're holding a little piece of late 60s American history. Now let's talk real market prices, spoken clearly in words only. A normal circulated 1968 penny is worth 1 cent. A clean uncirculated example can sell for 10 to 20 cents. A gem-quality bright red coin can sell for $1 to $5. Off-center errors, die cracks, or repunched mint marks can sell for $10 to $50 depending on severity. High-grade certified coins in mint state 67 red have sold for over $100. The finest known mint state and proof quality pieces have reached several $100s at auction. Top 7, and last rare coin. Today we're taking a deep dive into a coin that's older than many people watching this video, a coin that millions of Americans have held without ever realizing how interesting it truly is. The United States of America Lincoln penny from the year 1961. At first glance, it may look like a simple copper cent, something you've seen your whole life. But listen carefully, because the 1961 penny has stories, secrets, varieties, and hidden treasures that make collectors lean in and pay attention. 1961 was a busy year for the U.S. Mint. Billions of pennies were struck to keep up with everyday circulation. 2 mint varieties were produced, the Philadelphia pennies without a mint mark, and the Denver pennies with a small letter D. While that might sound ordinary, the way these coins were produced makes them anything but. These pennies were struck using dies that were hand-prepared, and the mint mark on Denver coins was punched by hand. Anytime something is done by hand at the mint, interesting things happen: doubling, repunching, shifting, and mechanical mistakes that today's collectors chase like treasure hunters. First, the metal. The 1961 penny is made of 95% copper. This gives it that beautiful deep red glow when it survives in perfect mint condition. But most of the coins you find today have turned brown or dark from decades of circulation. So when collectors find a 1961 penny with blazing red luster, sharp details, and a clean surface, it's like discovering a tiny time capsule sealed in copper. But the real excitement begins with the errors and varieties. One of the most famous varieties from 1961 is the repunched mint mark. Because the D mint mark was punched by hand, some coins show a double-struck or shifted mint mark. Under magnification, you can see 2 impressions, one slightly higher, lower, or tilted, and this tiny detail can raise a coin's value greatly. Then there are die cracks and cuds, raised lines, or blobs of metal caused by failing dies during production. These errors give the coin character and uniqueness, making them stand out from millions of normal pennies. Some 1961 pennies even show minor doubling on the lettering, giving the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" a shadowed look. While not as dramatic as famous double die errors, they are still exciting finds for collectors. Off-center strikes are another gem. When the blank coin isn't perfectly aligned under the die, part of the design is pushed to the edge, leaving a blank crescent. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the error becomes. Even small off-centers can catch a collector's eye immediately, and then we have the proof coins, made only in San Francisco for collectors. These coins were struck with special dies, giving them mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. If a proof like 1961 penny ever turns up in circulation, you found something special. The beauty of collecting a coin like the 1961 penny is the mix of possibilities: ordinary circulation coins, high-grade red gems, rare repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, dramatic die cracks, and even proof-level pieces. That variety makes this year fascinating for beginners and experts alike. Now let's talk about real values, spoken clearly in words only. A normal circulated 1961 penny is worth 1 cent. A bright uncirculated red example can sell for $5 to $15. Repunched mint mark varieties can sell for $20 to $50. Off-center errors may bring $50 to $100. High-grade certified coins in mint state 67 red can reach $200 to $300. The finest known pieces have sold for more than $1,000 at auction. If you enjoyed this journey through the story of a small but powerful piece of American history, make sure to subscribe for more rare coin discoveries. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.